A few years ago, a creator named Sierra Thompson caused an uproar when she said that one of the most dangerous groups in the US is white women. What she was referring to is the long history of white women's lies leading to horrifying acts of violence against black Americans. For example, in 1921 in Tulsa, Oklahoma, a 19-year-old black teenager named Dick Rowland accidentally bumped into a white woman named Sarah Page in an elevator. Paige screamed and ran away, and a lie spread that Rowland had assaulted her. This gave a white mob the excuse to go on a murder spree that left hundreds of black people dead in what came to be known as the Tulsa Massacre. 2 years after this massacre, something similar happened in Rosewood, Florida. When a white woman named Fannie Taylor falsely accused a black man of assaulting her, a white mob went on a rampage through the black community, murdering dozens and throwing the bodies into mass graves. In 1955 in Mississippi, a white woman named Carolyn Bryant lied and told her husband that a black teenager named Emmett Till had tried to assault her. That night, Bryant's husband went out and kidnapped Emmett Till, tortured, and murdered him. Neither Carolyn Bryant nor her husband ever faced any consequences for their actions. This dark history is the reason why Sierra Thompson argued that white women can be so dangerous. And she was also responding to several cases across the country in the past few years where white women have called the police on black people, putting their lives in danger. For example, in 2020, a white woman called the police on a black man birdwatching in Central Park after he asked her to put her dog on a leash. Because police encounters with black Americans so often turn deadly, many people argued that by simply making that phone call, this woman was setting herself up to be an accomplice to murder. If we look back at history, what we find is that sometimes white women have played a terrifying role in the violence against black people. And there were even some women who made a career out of calling for this kind of violence, both in the United States and around the world. In the 1920s, Ray Beveridge, a former actress turned right-wing activist, went on a speaking tour across Germany where she protested the presence of black troops in that country. As part of the Versailles Treaty that ended World War I, the Rhineland in Germany became a demilitarized zone. And when the French army occupied that territory, they enlisted black soldiers from Senegal. People like Beveridge began a racist campaign calling for these black soldiers to be removed from Germany to protect white women. Her speeches were titled The Black Horror and The Black Shame. One way that she drummed up racist fears was by constantly warning about the threat of mixed-race children to the purity of the German race. During her tour of 25 German cities, Beveridge warned about the brutal cravings of these savage blacks for white women. In one speech, she said that the Negro has much less capacity to think, but much stronger sensual feelings than the white. She said that black beast with a wild erotic drive would assault white women, white girls, and white boys. She spread blatant lies about how the victims of this unregulated passion of black men would often be found close to death, their bodies torn through the brutal attacks, some of them with wounds from bites, which showed obviously how the wild black beast had fallen upon its victim. Every single time Beveridge gave a speech, she would include dozens of outright lies, such as that 60% of the children of mixed race were born with syphilis, or that in German brothels, every girl has to satisfy 10 black men every 3 hours. She even took propaganda photos like this one, where she held a well-nourished black child and a malnourished white child, trying to claim that black children were treated better than white children in Germany. During her speeches, Beveridge constantly used the N-word when describing black people, and she argued that the use by France of black troops on the Rhine was detrimental to the culture of the world. She instructed her listeners in Germany to solve this problem the same way that American men did in the South, by lynching. She told them, "Your weapons have been taken away from you, but there is always a rope and a tree. Take up the natural weapons used by our men of the South. Lynch. Hang every black who assaults the white race." Often crowds of 50,000 Germans would listen to these speeches, which Beveridge was paid extremely well for. Another white woman who called for the lynching of black men was the feminist Rebecca Latimer Felton from Georgia. In 1897, she warned that black men were roaming America with a license to degrade and debauch. During one speech in Georgia, Felton said, "If it needs lynching to protect white women's dearest possession from the ravening human beast, then I say lynch, 1,000 times a week if necessary." Now, it's important to note that these accusations of an epidemic of black men assaulting white women were completely false. In the 1890s, the anti-lynching activist Ida B. Wells conducted in-depth investigations into these charges. She found that in a majority of lynchings, the accusations of black men assaulting white women were false, and were only invented later as an excuse to justify this racist violence. The fact that white women played a key role in racism and white supremacy should come as no surprise. From the moment that enslaved Africans arrived in the Americas, white women were critical to the maintenance of slavery and white supremacy. In the book They Were Her Property, Stephanie E. Jones Rogers shows that white women employed management techniques that were as effective and brutal as those used by slave-owning men. White women actively participated in the slave market, profited from it, and used it for economic and social empowerment. The role of women in white supremacy hasn't gone away either. Ever since Trump won in 2016, many people have argued that his victory was rooted in white supremacy and racism. And white women played a key role in electing Trump in 2016 and 2024. Also, in the past few years, we've seen a disturbing rise in white women openly embracing anti-black racism and being proud of their potential to cause harm to black Americans. In 2018, Mississippi Senator Cindy Hyde-Smith told an audience that if she was invited to a public hanging, she'd be in the front row. Many people pointed out how disgusting this statement was, considering that Mississippi had the highest number of lynchings of black Americans in the country. For decades, 2 to 3 black people were publicly hanged or burned alive in Mississippi every week. In 2019, a white woman named Nancy Goodman was caught on camera calling a black woman a stupid N-word in a restaurant. When she was later asked about the incident, she said she would happily use that word again. More recently, a white woman named Shiloh Hendricks called a black child the N-word at a park in Minnesota. When she set up an online fundraiser, she raised over $600,000 from people who left comments like, "White unity will unite," "Whites stand strong," and "White rise." After this story spread around the world, a white woman named Lily Gaddis went on the Piers Morgan show, and she not only defended Shiloh Hendricks using this racial slur against a child, but she admitted that she frequently uses the N-word herself. When white women admit to using the N-word and take pride in their ability to weaponize their whiteness and put black lives in danger, they are following in a dark legacy in this country that goes back to the days of slavery and lynching. That's why it's been so disheartening to see some white women come on this app and talk about how they have black fatigue. Whenever any white person uses this phrase, we all know what they're really saying. Black fatigue is just another way of saying the N-word. And we've seen this kind of rebranding before. We saw how in the early 2000s, white people started using the word thug instead of the N-word. We've seen how racists used the term alt-right when they were really describing the same white supremacy this country has always dealt with. What's so troubling about this conversation around black fatigue is that it fits into a trend of white women gaining influence by using racist dog whistles. When people like Ray Beveridge spread her hatred in the 1920s, she reached thousands of people. Thanks to social media, the Ray Beveridges of today can spread their hate to millions. Now, I want to make it clear that by covering this information, I'm in no way saying that we should condemn all white women, or use this history to incite violence or hatred against any women. We can't change the past, but we can change how we act in the present and how we work together to build a better future. We have to stand up and condemn racism whenever we see it, no matter who it comes from. Because the only real fatigue comes from living in a country that is still poisoned by racism and division. The only way to move forward is united as one.
These are some of the people that understand the system of American and how American works. And these are some of the people that can actually air up to the truth and tell you exactly what you need to know. You know, for a lot of them to come out here and be like, oh, black women are the problem, black women are too loud, black women are these. I can't just stand a chance of hearing that. And we still have to digest this video deeper. You can see from this particular clip I'm rolling out that white folks are the one exposing themselves. White folks are the ones saying it exactly as it is. White folks are the ones saying, can we admit the truth? We are the problem. We have literally been the problem. We have been the case of this particular country. We have started our atrocity from then, not even now. So can we just identify that? Can we just accept that with our full I love it when I see some of these white men coming to educate their fellow white folks. But anyways, welcome to the channel. My name is Sonia. Subscribe, like, comment, and share. Credits belong to the original creators of every single clips and stitches we have in today's episode. I want to say a very big thank you to every single one of you liking, commenting, sharing, dropping super thanks, and also joining my membership. I do not take you guys for granted. You guys are absolutely the best. With that being said, let's dive right into this video properly. I'll be back with commentaries.
White liberal women are the most dangerous species in the United States. I repeat, liberal white women are the most dangerous species in the United States.
Because white women are dangerous and white women have always been dangerous. Non-white women cannot assume that a white woman is an ally. In the same way that us women cannot assume that a man is an ally and that he's a safe person, women of color have never been able to assume that we are an ally. We have shown historically that we are an ally when it benefits us and we need the numbers. Does this necessarily apply to you? Absolutely not. I don't know you. But if you take offense to this and you don't understand why I said it, or you don't understand the historical context, then that's on you. Beyond just not being an ally, white women have been dangerous historically because they have got black men killed. Black men have been lynched simply by a woman being uncomfortable, the black man around her. White women are dangerous because they refuse to learn. They refuse to accept and acknowledge their internal biases and their internal prejudices and their racism. An example of this just recently, actually going on still, I'm going to name names. There's a white woman on here that has a pretty big platform who said data centers should be put in the bad communities and leave the good communities' water alone, and specifically pointed out Flint. Here we are talking about Michigan again. Now, when she was called out about how that was racism, she didn't say, oh, I'm wrong. I need to look into this. I need to learn about this brand of racism and why I've internalized it so much and why I would think that it's okay. She blocked people. She cried about it. She's made multiple apology videos without an apology. Been unwilling to learn. White women and their unwillingness to learn makes them dangerous. And it's important that we understand that and recognize it, and we acknowledge that it lives inside of us. There is systemic racism and it's deep down inside of us, and we need to actively combat it. Turning our heads and shutting our eyes is not going to get us anywhere. White women are dangerous, and we need to accept that so that we can change it.
Have you guys noticed how white liberal women have become the new punching bags of the right, the new boogeymen of the right, especially in the wake of Renee Good's murder? I've seen conservatives refer to white liberal women as the most dangerous demographic in America and say that white liberal women are essentially ruining the country. So why is that? Why are they going after not just liberal women, but white liberal women specifically? Well, the answer has to do with white supremacy. Now, that might sound crazy, but just bear with me. Just hear me out. Now, there is a real concentrated effort by the right and this administration to uphold what they think America should be, which is a white ethno-state completely dominated by white Christian Western values. And anybody that doesn't fit into that criteria needs to get the hell out of here. That's why you see conservatives constantly fear-mongering about immigrants. Somalians coming into this country is so spooky. After Zohran Mamdani went in New York, they said Muslims were invading the country. And that's why they're going after brown people in general, because they don't think that they're compatible with our Western values, whatever the fuck that means. And it also explains why this administration is going after any brown person they could get their hands on, no matter if you're legal or not. If you speak with an accent, look brown, don't look like how America should look, we're going to come after you and we're going to deport you. In fact, this administration is trying to stop even legal immigration from brown countries, while simultaneously shipping in white people from South Africa, refugees as he calls them. So like I said, this administration and the right are trying to uphold white supremacy in this country. But the only way you can truly uphold white supremacy and make it stick is if all white people are in agreement and support that idea, including white liberal women. So when they see these white liberal women out there in the trenches in Minneapolis, standing up to ICE, standing up for their immigrant neighbors, standing up for marginalized communities, that enrages them because in their eyes, they're betraying their agenda. They're betraying the white agenda because they know in order for their white supremacy plot to work, they're going to need the help of these white liberal women too. So to all the white liberal women out there, keep doing what you do. Do not crack under pressure. Your voice is important now more than ever. Keep standing up for what's right. Don't let these white supremacists use you as cannon fodder for their race war.
I think one of the most harmful things about racism is that it has essentially made the truth controversial. I know a lot of Black people are not comfortable with telling the truth because there's a level of controversy in that truth. For instance, I made a video recently about how dangerous a lot of white women can be in this society. And there was pushback, which is weird because that's the truth. And over and over and over again, we have seen instances of white women being dangerous to Black people and people of color. And still, we find controversy in that fact. For instance, I recently saw a video of a hotel worker being harassed by a white woman. He has to physically subdue this woman from harming him. Now, keep in mind, this is a Black man. And so he is physically restraining this woman because she's trying to harm him. And the police come. Guess who they arrest? You got it, the Black guy. Because individual white women are backed by a system that sees them as damsels in distress. When white women are perceived as damsels in distress, every single person they come in contact with, they are a danger to. Because if you by default see a white woman as a damsel in distress, and by default you see a Black person as dangerous and violent, put two and two together. If there is a Black person or person of color in proximity to a white woman, they are seen and perceived as a threat to that woman. Are you following me? Your personal feelings on this matter are not important. Because the fact of the matter is that you are dangerous to Black people and people of color by proximity. The first step in solving racism is white people need to step up and remove the controversy from fact. Your feelings don't matter. The truth does.
I do want to premise this video with a warning and say that I did hit the cart right before this, so proceed at your own risk. But I would say that white women are some of the most difficult people to trust, or like the worst people to trust. Fuck it, I'll say it. Because looking at the white woman or the white girl's role in history, she's always been like a malevolent bystander, if that makes sense. Like, she doesn't have any real power in the system around her, but she can make things happen. She can say certain things. Stay with me. You gotta stay with me. Like, even now, there's already a societal connotation of warning around white women. The trope in the Black community already exists for, like, Black men to avoid white women. Because, like, oh, you'll go to court, or, like, you'll catch a case, da, da, da. Like, that already exists. Like, that belief already exists. And just, like, thinking about it deeper, I think that, like, while they don't pose a real threat, like a physical threat, their voice, like their white woman voice, means more to the white man than our Black ass voice ever will. Am I cooking here?
Really? White women are the most dangerous? Not the skinheads or the Republicans or the neo-Yazis? I said it once. I'll say it again. I'll say it a third time. I will scream it from my roof. White women are the most dangerous people to people of color. Why? It's because they forget that just because they are a woman, that it doesn't, negate the fact that they are still white, that they still get privilege, that they get the oppression that they are experiencing, even if they are LGBTQ, is lukewarm. It's air conditioned compared to the people of color who are also trans, who are also Muslim, who are also disabled. Like, do you not get that? White women love to hide behind this guise of being an ally, of being there for the movement, without realizing that a lot of the times that means admitting that you're wrong, because as a white person, you have severe blind spots because you are not aware of all the oppression that goes on, because you don't experience all of it. You only experience like a handful of what we have experienced, to the point that we've experienced trauma. Don't get me wrong, that doesn't mean like being homeless, or if you experience like abuse, doesn't negate that. Like those experiences are your experiences, and hold them close to you. Do whatever you need to let it out. That still doesn't mean you understand the experiences of people of color, the systemic racism, and all the other social aspects of racism. And when it comes to class solidarity, we must attack racism first before we come together as a class. Because you know what? Once we have class solidarity, guess who's going to be in the front leading it? White men, when it should be people of color, you know? Because they're the ones who know what's going on best. They see things firsthand. We see things firsthand. We experience things firsthand. At least the skinheads, the Republicans, the neo-Yazis, they wear their shit proud. They are not ashamed of who they are. They will let me know to my face that they hate me and they want me to. White women will call me their best friend. White women will invite me to their home. White women will say out here, verbalize, I love you, I'm your supporter, always be there for you. Well, up here, in their brain, they're thinking, you need to go back to Mexico. You need to go back to Mexico. Does that not sound dangerous to you, or do you just genuinely not understand the concept of being oppressed by any white person, and the fact that that is dangerous, especially when you try to pretend to be friends with someone and can't acknowledge the power dynamic?
The biggest reason that I know that white feminism is a real problem is just the perceived threat that so many white women feel from black women just existing. Before I continue, I'm gonna reference myself as attractive. Yes, I know, shocker. I did this before and y'all got on my ass. I don't know what to say, we're gonna keep doing it. But as a black woman, when you like transition from unattractive to being perceived as attractive, you will notice a change in behavior from not only men, but also women, specifically white women. Especially when you don't fit like a certain stereotype that they associate with your race and like what they deem a black woman should act like. It's almost like they don't know how to act with you and they end up, feeling this contempt. They implicitly know that they are the standard. Like they have been socialized to know that. It's been their experience to have men want them of any race. But in that, they also know that whiteness is sort of blankness. And I actually don't mean that in like a mean way. I mean, it is the standard. It's the norm. It is the opposite of exoticism. So in their male-centered minds, they're thinking, yeah, like in majority of cases, I'm going to get the guy. But when they want a little switch up, a change from their usual, that is when women of color, specifically black women, become a big threat. It's like a lot of them sort of know that a lot of girls look like them. A lot of pretty girls look like them. They can never account for the allure of a deviation from that norm. So when they see an attractive black woman, it's like, okay, I have to see, how can I fight against this? I don't have the facilities to fight against this. And to compensate for that, I think that's why we see a lot of like white women try to play into the features of women of color. The style, the slick backs, the lip filler, aneurysms, all of it. Like they want to be able to oscillate between all types of attractiveness, become this sort of like maxed out woman who has every single thing a guy could ever want at any time. Because they are so used to being the standard, they cannot accept someone wanting something different. So they kind of try to like borrow parts of you to become that so that that won't happen again. It's very interesting and it happens more than you would think.
We live in a world where white women are dangerous as fuck, even more than they've ever been. This lady called ICE on this plant that would have brought so many jobs and opportunities to Americans and so much money to America. And you doubling down on that shit. This is why every day I pray, God, don't put me in a predicament to be surrounded by that type of hatred, because the way that I would slap a bitch to sleep and her ancestors would have to resurrect and come pull her by the ear and tell her to sit the fuck down because she know not what she do, is the way I'd handle this situation. Like, Trump got y'all hoes getting too bold. Even with the workplace disrespect, y'all play entirely too motherfucking much, and one day you gonna catch a bitch on the worst day and she gonna drag you in the worst way. You understand? I'm gonna need y'all to get y'all mind together because y'all don't know what the fuck y'all.
Dear white people, I am not getting out of the way for you on the sidewalk. In another era, it may have been illegal for me to shoulder check you, but you can go ahead and shoulder check me. It is not the 60s anymore. Be considerate of the other people on the sidewalk. I have been screamed off the sidewalk by an old white lady, and while I was walking on the sidewalk, I have had a man yell at me that I belong in a concentration camp. This goes beyond shoulder checking. If you show that you think you are superior to me through your body language, you can catch these consequences of your actions.
Anyways, welcome back, guys, and thank you so much for watching. And honestly, I know that this one is actually not debatable. This one is not even what we should even argue about. We have seen different scenarios, to be honest, where you literally see some of these white people trying to prove themselves. Like, we've seen a particular video circulating online that was I think early this year, not last year, where you literally see these kids, these white kids as well, trying to harass, trying to beat, trying to make a black kid that is not even okay, a black kid that has issues with the way he walks, the way he talks. They have to try to make him feel uncomfortable. So if a lot of them are owning up to the truth and making their children understand the history and how things are, I think a lot of things will have been better. But the sad part is knowing fully well that this is actually what you people have literally done, and then trying to deny it, and then trying to make it look like, oh, black people are the problem. It's what I'm going to be saying no to it. That is why I took my time to do it section by section, so that a lot of people can actually see the truth. I know that no matter how we scream, no matter how we say it, the people that still want to hear the truth we hear, and the people that still want to be biased will definitely be biased. But anyways, let me know what you think in the comment section about all of this. The truth is, we cannot deviate from the truth. Please, if you're hearing anybody snoring, just know that my mom is literally sleeping and snoring, and there is nothing I can do right now. So I'm so sorry for that. But anyways, we have seen it statistically and every otherwise that black people are literally the safe hand. In fact, for some white women to go to the point of telling their children that if peradventurally you literally got missed, look for a black person, stay with a black person, embrace the black person instead of a white person. You should know that is a whole lot of difference. You should know that it's not something we should even negotiate about. It's not something we should even talk about. It's not something that will make some of you guys keep saying that, oh, black people are the problem. Oh, black people are this. Oh, black people are that. Oh, black people are east. Oh, black people are west. But anyways, let me know what you think in the comment section. Credit to the original creators of every single clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. I want to say a very big thank you to every single one of you liking, commenting, sharing, dropping super thanks, and also joining my membership. I do not take you guys for granted. You guys are absolutely the best. And yes, with that being said, with no further ado, I do like I always say in my videos, I'm going to be saying back and I'll see you guys in my next one. Let me allow this woman to sleep. Ma are snoring in my video. Anyways, guys, bye. I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye. I love you guys. No worries, sleep. I don't finish.